A tiny androgynous musician learns the value of life and love and friendship and I don't know. There was so much crap going on in this movie. Jamie?
Yes.
Let's go watch Purple Rain. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. I am one of your two hosts. My name is Douglas McCambridge. Douglas, woo!
Wow,
my name is
fancy.
Doug McCambridge. And with me, as always, from Nashville, Tennessee, is Jamie Lorello. Jamie.
Howdy.
How purple is your rain? How tight are your pants?
You mean I don't wear pants? I'm wearing a full nightie right now.
Oh, okay.
To
All right.
watch
Okay.
this.
Sorry.
Yeah, a
sorry.
thong. I'm in a thong.
Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. If you don't know what we're talking about, we're talking about Purple Rain. And
Yes.
this is, truth be told, this is our second time recording this show.
Uh-huh.
We lost half of our audio the first time.
Total sadness.
And I never recorded Skype before, but I found a way to do that. So hopefully
We're
this will
problem
never
solving.
happen
We're
again.
problem
I
solving.
wanted to give up.
You were throwing in the towel. Yep.
Much like Prince in this movie, I was being a
Much like his
pretentious-
dad.
Yeah, I was being a big baby, and
Yes.
much like his dad, trying to take the easy way out. And much like the revolution, you swooped in and said, "Hey, you big creep, our fans deserve more than this."
I did. I wanted you to just play the one titular song for us. And once you
I
did,
was just-
it would turn
yeah.
us all around.
I was going to say, let's just call it a lost episode. We get 2 weeks off, and then we'll do something else. But no, you
And
you
not
knew what
when
our
it comes
fans
to
wanted.
Not when it comes to Purple Rain. I mean, I could talk about this movie for the next 3 days.
And you convinced me that it's worth talking about twice. So anyway, before we talk about just a couple of announcements,
yes.
because we had David Blakesley on last episode, and he was great, we thank him
Yes.
so much. And
Awesome
because
guy.
he was on, I'm going to call them legitimate film critics.
Oh,
because I think it's
critiques.
fair to call... Compared to us, I think it's fair to call David a legitimate film critic.
Yes. I totally agree. He was wonderful to have on, though.
Yeah, other people have reached out and they said they like our format, they like what we do,
Nice.
so they would love to come on, and so we'll look into that in the future. But
Groovy.
because of the fact that he was on, we forgot to mention that we are now part of the Tangent Bound network of podcasts.
Yes. The Tangent Bound. Yes.
So we do want to thank them. This will not change our format whatsoever.
No changes.
They did ask if we would record a ad for like a little promo, a little bumper. Is that a thing?
Okay.
Is that industry jargon?
I think that's the terminology. Yeah.
For
where
our
we're like
podcast.
for ourselves.
So that it could then be up on their website so other podcasts could grab it and put it to theirs. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yes, I believe it does. I like that.
So write a script and let me see it. Make sure it's witty and charming.
Fair enough.
But anyway, hopefully that will let more people listen to our podcasts because you
Yeah.
can go onto their website. You can find them on iTunes, listen to us there as well. But I assume if you're listening
Excellent.
to us right now, you're listening to us through iTunes. So you'll still get our podcast through our iTunes channel. So that's not going to change either, but
Wow.
we hope
Simple.
to draw more fans.
Just taking in more.
Yeah.
Just taking in more. But keeping it the same. But keeping everything same.
And my only other announcement is a
Oh,
personal announcement for Gotta Love the Goot to continue to make
Oh,
new
the Goots.
episodes. The Goots
Aw.
have been absent
No.
for more than a month.
Goot gone? What?
I hope not, because
Oh.
they ended with 3 Men and a Baby, which you and I covered, and
Oh,
you and
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought was hilarious.
But there's so much more Goot that you
There's
gotta get to.
Gotta be more, right? I assume Goot made movies into the 90s and beyond.
I think he's still, isn't he still doing like I don't know. I'm sure he's been on an episode of CSI or something. I don't know.
I could see that. I could see
Right?
that. Yeah. Uh-huh.
The Goot's around. The Goot is around.
People that make CSI, and I don't know if the original CSI is still on, but I know there's like 5 of them.
Yeah, there's variations
Please,
for sure.
if the Goot hasn't been on CSI yet,
Have him on.
Oh, my
yeah.
God.
He could be your killer. He could be your lawyer guy. He could be.
he could be a regular. I think Ted Danson is in a CSI, isn't he?
I believe
Isn't
so.
he like-
yeah. I think he does. He does some
Something
sort of
like that.
detective work, and Tom Selleck is.
Well, wait
Yeah.
a second here. Something's missing from this. Nancy Travis is even on a stupid TV
The
show.
Goot's gotta
with,
get in.
With
Maybe-
Tim Allen. So
Yeah, you're right.
everyone from that movie, I'm ignoring everyone else that was in that movie, is still working. So please, gotta
Bring it
love the
back.
Goot. We need you guys to tell
Yeah.
us what's happening.
Yeah, keep us informed. I don't know.
I
Maybe
hope
the Goot
you're
has been-
okay. Let us
Yeah.
know.
Send
we
in
have
wishes.
we
as
have
well.
because people know that we listen to them and that they listen to us and we promote each other. People have reached out to us on Twitter asking us what happened to God Love the Goot.
Really?
So there
People are
are people out there that
concerned.
care. So please let us know.
Get on it, Goot. I mean that with kind words.
And that's it off the top.
All right, great.
So let's talk about Purple Rain.
Are you sweating a little bit like our lead does and throughout much of this film? All right. So
I don't know
Purple-
if I've ever sweated that much in my life.
I don't know if that's all sweat. I think they oil him up.
I don't know.
because-
I mean, his performance on stage is very
well,
active.
he gets into his performances. I will say his musical performances, his acting performances. I mean, but when he's on that stage, I mean, that's why Prince is Prince. He's a whole thing between the outfits, which are insane, and the way he feels about a song. And we open
The way he
with
feels about us.
about the way he puts himself into it.
He's practically crying through these songs.
Beyond that, he humps the stage at one point.
He's writhing on stage. He
Yeah.
rips off all his clothes, I'm assuming. He's squealing and screaming at times.
He does have
This
some off-
is a concert movie. If you have any interest in Prince,
You must.
this
have
is
seen
what
this
you should
movie.
see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you've been watching.
Well, our first scene, the opener, is basically a it's about 8-minute long song. It's just his performance.
If
Just-
you
it's
get
less-
rid of on-stage performances, this is like a 48-minute movie. I
Oh,
think.
yes, but the onstage performances keep you. It's what makes the movie work, obviously. Well, the story too, of course. It's so
Well.
deep. But okay, so yes, the opening number, I guess, the opening song is a great song. Let's Go Crazy. I mean,
Yes.
Dearly Beloved. He does, again, to watch Prince do Prince, he does a stellar performance. We have to watch him for 8 minutes, and so
wait, are you telling me that Prince can play Prince pretty well? Is
well,
that what you're
he's
saying?
not Prince. He's the kid,
Well,
right?
okay.
He doesn't really have. He's the kid. He doesn't really have a name.
It's as
right?
though they didn't bother making up another name because it was too difficult for him to understand that he might be a different character.
You're just the
than
kid.
Prince.
Well, and
You're
all
just
the
the
other.
kid. Yeah, your mom is just mom. Your dad is just dad.
Right,
And this
right.
is how they are credited in the credits. It's not
They
even
keep it
as
simple.
though at one point when the police arrive, and I know I'm skipping ahead, or
Oh,
when
and
the
they-
club
yeah.
manager talks about his dad,
He never calls him
doesn't
by a
say
name.
his
Yeah,
dad's
you're right.
name.
You're right. Well, and all the other characters, like their names in the movie, are their real life. Like
Right.
Apollonia, the love interest, that's her real
Yes.
name.
I don't
Even
know,
Morris.
that Morris guy, is that his real name?
Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
And then, of course, the band Revolution. So it opens and it's the kid and Revolution, the kid being Prince. Again,
Revolution being comprised of 2 female band members,
Right. To Wendy and Lisa.
a
And
guy
then-
who looks like Prince but isn't Prince,
Right.
a guy who wears scrubs, which
I
might
did not-
be my favorite.
I did not recall the guy in the scrubs.
There's also a guy who looks like a cross between Prince and Vincent Price. Like he's got
Oh.
a real pencil thin mustache, but he's got the Prince like afro pompadour
crazy
going.
curl, yeah,
yes.
Yeah, I did note that. Well, they're all part of his real band. Like they're all
Right.
Revolution. They're Prince's
Yeah.
band. And so, yeah, after our lovely concert, that's in a club. This all takes place in the hot area of Minneapolis, right? Minneapolis?
Yeah, I didn't really know we were in Minnesota until he refers to a lake. So I thought this was like New York. Like I thought that's where we were at the start of this.
Okay,
for
okay,
quite
because
a
it's
while.
a city. We're in a city. We're in a city of some kind.
In the bad city of Minneapolis. Did you ever go to Minneapolis, by the way? I've
No,
been
I
there.
have not. Have
It
you?
is the opposite of a bad city. Like the entire city looks like an outdoor mall. Like it is the cleanest, most sanitized city I've ever seen. It's insane.
Well, it makes sense that it's where Prince is from because he's got, he's from the other side of the tracks, but he's very, I mean, the outfits he wears and his hair. What a beautiful head of hair that man has. Let's just say it. Let's just be honest.
His hair is phenomenal.
The curl, the shine. It's a nice head of hair.
Where would he get these outfits? Like, where do you get that stuff? Where do you get a pirate shirt?
And he has several.
And he is a poor man. It is
True.
very clear
yeah.
that he does not have money from working in this club.
Well, but he does have a fancy motorcycle that he rides like the Batmobile.
That's-
Fancy purple motorcycle.
Yes.
and yeah, he's able to afford a lot of eyeliner, and he just always looks.
His clothes may not.
He
be
doesn't look like
expensive,
he's slumming
because they do look like they're bedazzled by an 8-year-old girl.
Like they're bedazzled. Oh my gosh! Well. All right, besides
We haven't even talked about the movie yet.
We haven't even got into any other characters because there's so much just Prince, the kid. Okay, so we meet our other characters too in this opening where we meet there's a busty chick who's stiffing the cabbie, and that's
Apollonia. Yes.
Apollonia, our
That's
female
our love interest.
Yes, yes.
But then we see that she's got wads of cash. Like, I don't know why she didn't just give that cab driver the $13 because she runs away around the corner and then pulls out a wallet. It's huge. It's, let's say, fat stacks. She's got a lot of money, and I don't know if we're meant to think that she somehow stole that from the cabbie or that she's had it the whole time.
Is she shady? Either way, she's a little shady.
Either way,
honest.
clearly
Apollonia
it's not
is
her money.
Right, exactly. And she's come to the city to be discovered, as the superstar that she is.
And where are you from where you decide that you need to be discovered in Minneapolis, Minnesota? All the movies that do this, you are going to L.A. or you're going to New York.
Not Apollonia. Mm-mm. So here she lands.
Do you think she just didn't make it? Like, this is the 27th city that she just
she's just rolling into? I mean, perhaps. But as fate has it, this is the city that Prince is in, or that the kid is in. And she ends up at the same club that he's performing at, right? Oh, wait, I'm missing a character. We're introduced to Morris.
Oh,
Morris,
yes, Morris.
Who is, how would you describe Morris? He's
a comedic villain.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I have.
All right, there you go.
Goofy. He's just silly. Nothing. I don't even know. We'll get more into Morris because he's probably. I don't want to say my favorite character because there are other really good characters in this movie. But he is enjoyable to watch. Like he's the one person in this movie that knows it's a joke.
Yeah.
Like, nobody else thinks that this movie's a joke. Not the director, not the writer, no
Certainly
actor.
not Prince. He takes this very seriously.
Yes, but Morris seems to understand that this should be a comedy, but isn't.
Yes, okay. And he plays into that. I got
He does, yes.
Yes, okay. Apollonia is at this club now where Prince has just done this magical performance, and she has watched him perform, and her mind is blown, and she becomes infatuated.
Yes.
Another thing we see a lot of in this movie is sunglasses. Sunglasses on audience members, sunglasses on our lead, on Prince, just a lot of sunglasses.
And 90+% of this movie is filmed either at night or indoors,
Yes.
and everyone has sunglasses on.
Well, he was just performing, and this more than one woman in the audience was sort of quivering for his performance, but he caught the eye of Apollonia and back and forth, and all of a sudden he just appears, right? Like right behind her. He's just standing there.
Well, he's in front of her first. They stare at each other. They're maybe a foot away. No, he walks out in front of her.
Oh, but he doesn't say anything.
No, they don't say anything. No. They just stare at each other until the horrible blonde actress comes in and sort of breaks it up.
Oh, yes.
And that's when he's suddenly behind her. It's like he's a vampire.
Yes. He just appears, and then he's gone.
But she seems to know that he's behind her, and then she has a conversation or the end of a conversation where she says, also, I loved your music, as though they had been talking, but they hadn't. So I assume that was all cut out. They were like, we don't need dialogue at this point. And then you're right, she turns around and he's gone. Again, he's
disappeared. Yeah, but now he's vanished onto the motorcycle. This is when we meet the other character, the motorcycle. And he rides off back to his parents' house, right?
Yes.
And we get to see where the kid is from.
Oh.
And you're right. The kid is from a rough side of town. Literally the other side of the tracks. You can hear the train and see the tracks go by in one scene. And mom and dad, those are even their names. They're not nice to each other. Daddy's not nice to mommy. Am I right?
They're not. And it's the most generic arguments. It's like, you clean this house. You don't listen to me. You never let me have fun. You never take me anywhere nice. Shut up, woman. And he's
you don't inspire me.
He's smacking his mom around.
Yeah, then
Prince
he
is not
gets in
smacking
it, right?
his mom around. The dad is smacking the mom around.
And then doesn't Prince get in the middle of it? And
right.
Then
and his dad punches him into another room.
Well, he's a little guy. So
he's a little guy.
Takes flight easy.
And his dad's pretty big, yes.
Aww.
And then Prince cries. Not for the first time in this movie. Not for the last time in this movie.
Well, times are hard back at the kid's home, right?
I'm pretty sure every time he's at home, he's crying. Is that correct?
Well,
maybe not the sexy time he's at home. Oh, but I think every other time he's at home, he cries.
Wouldn't you? When doves cry.
And also, he is clearly a 30-year-old man who lives with his parents. Like, they call him the kid, and I think they only do that so that we as an audience go, I guess he must be a kid. He's not a kid. He's a grown man.
He's a grown man living in his parents' cellar area.
I did look it up. He was
right?
26 when this was filmed.
Okay.
So that borders on unacceptable.
Move out, right? Well, his career was just taking off by the end of Purple Rain. So hopefully by the time the movie ended, well, who knows if the parents... We go through a lot with him and his family.
And you had mentioned to me that this movie was semi-autobiographical.
Yes, indeed, it is.
So maybe Prince lived with his parents till he was 26.
No, yes, maybe that's the part.
He was living with his parents while he filmed this. He'd go home from the shoot every night and his mom would get the crap beat out of her.
Oh, my God.
We shouldn't laugh about that. Domestic violence is terrible.
No, we're not. I'm not. It's not humorous at all.
No, it's only humorous in the way that this movie presents.
It's humorous sort of in this movie.
This movie presents heavy and dark topics in the most goofy way possible.
In a bedazzled way, you can say. You could reference, there you go. Oh, yes. But it's a beautiful thing. Then we have another, this is then when we see Morris again.
Right.
The bad guy, who is the bad guy, and we get a more feel of what a bad guy he is.
But he's not. He's not like he's. Well, there is no bad guy in this movie except for, I guess, Prince's dad.
Well, him and his thugs throw that girl into a dumpster. That's kind of not nice.
You're right. That's not a nice thing to do.
No.
P.S. Women are treated horribly in this film.
Yes.
Every single one of them are either.
Including
every single one are either slapped or thrown in a dumpster.
Indeed.
Except for the blonde girl who doesn't have many lines.
Oh, but she's pretty sad.
Can't deliver them.
The movie,
But she is crying at one point when Prince doesn't.
Oh, at the end
to
when
her.
he sings his song, right?
No,
but everybody's
when he walks
nearly
by
brought
her
to
and she
tears.
goes, "Hello," as though we are supposed to care about her character in the last 30 seconds of this movie.
You wondered, because so many of them were fallen head over heels for Prince and his performance. I don't know, based on his kissing in this movie, he kisses like a snake. Like, he's got a very weird way later on when he makes out with, he doesn't seem to be a good kisser. I don't know. Maybe he's not good kissing on film, but he's like licking her at one point.
Wait, hold on.
It's very disturbing.
Hold on.
Yes.
Are you telling me that women aren't into that?
I mean, if Prince is doing it...
Have I been doing this wrong the whole time?
Well, you could learn a thing or two, maybe, from Morris Day, throwing women in dumpsters.
He's very flamboyant,
He
I guess,
is
is
very
what I'm
flamboyant.
saying.
Yes. He starts out in a red robe, doesn't he? Don't we first meet him and he's, like, singing to himself in a...
While he's vacuuming his apartment?
Yeah.
I didn't know what was happening at that. And again... Everyone has Prince's hairstyle, so when I saw this, I thought it was again Prince, suddenly dressed in red, vacuuming his apartment.
They have a vagueness of his hairstyle, but nobody has those perfect greased curls.
No. He won't let anybody have those.
No, well, they shouldn't. Let's be honest. Oh.
All right, we need to get back on track. We are way off here.
Well, he meets up again. Oh, this is our fall foliage. He meets up again with Apollonia. How?
Yes.
I don't remember how. He just sees her?
I guess they just...
not...
Minneapolis isn't a big city. They just run into each other. Like, he
just rides past her on him. She's doing something. She gives him a piece of her boot, right?
He's like window shopping, or they're window shopping, right? He looks at this guitar longingly, and she comes up, and they kind of flirt, and she gives him a bracelet that's around her boot.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he makes her get on his bike and they go for like a nice fall drive in the country, right?
Yes.
Basically.
And when you say he makes her get on his bike, several times through this movie, he makes this woman...
He either tells her or he just points to the back of the bike.
Points to the seat and she gets on.
And she sometimes hesitantly, sometimes more excitedly. I mean, she wants that in between her legs. She wants to be on the bike. Without hesitation.
Right, and they drive out into the country.
Yes, and this is when they well, she tells him about her dreams of making it. Did you think she was using him to make it, or did you think she was really falling in love?
I don't know, because there are mixed messages throughout, and when her character has more to do, let's say perform,
or performance.
I start to get the feeling that she is using all of these men, and this is not the first time, probably,
right. She's a
to
hussy.
advance her career.
Sure.
So
sure.
I thought she was using Prince. I really did.
Did you? Even after she stared at him for his performance? I mean, he's magnetic on stage, and she's drawn to that. And half the songs in this movie are for her.
Well, like you said, she went here to make it big. So
True.
I think she saw his talent, saw
as
that
something
he had
to capitalize on.
saw that he had two women in his band.
What
and
a little
she
slut.
realized I could become part of this.
Sure,
I could be part of the revolution.
Well, so she goes for it.
Doing what?
Full
Just
to-
dancing in her underwear, pretty much.
dancing in her underwear because she barely sings. But then, but they seem to be having a lovely time. She seems to be falling for him on this countryside ride he takes her to. He takes her to a lake. This is the lake that she needs to. He makes some joke about her purifying herself in Lake Minnetonka.
Minnetonka, yes.
Yes.
And this is where she kind of talks about what she wants to do. She wants to be a performer. She wants to be a musician, kind of. And he says, I don't help anyone out. And if I do, they first have to purify themselves in Lake Minnetonka. Where she proceeds to get entirely naked.
Yeah, this is... Do we see her full frontal boobies in this? Or is it... We do.
Which seems odd, because then in later sex scenes, we don't. Which is very strange.
No, but
I kind of assumed that was in her contract, where she's like, I will...
Well, she shows enough of them. I mean,
I will be topless if Prince is nowhere near me.
Right, yes.
I do not want this little creepo near me when I don't have my clothes on.
Well, she shows enough cleavage throughout the rest of the movie. I mean,
Oh,
half
yeah.
the time she's just literally busting out of whatever she's in. And so, yes, now she gets totally naked,
Yeah,
though.
I
and
think she
jumps.
takes everything off.
Yes, I know
and
she did.
jumps
Yeah, and
in.
she jumps in the water.
But it's all a joke.
He's about to stop her, right?
Not
as he's
really.
jumping in.
She,
No.
she yells when she's in midair doing a cannonball into this lake.
Because it is a joke. That's not the lake you jump in.
That's right. It's hilarious. And to add
Yes.
a big exclamation point onto the joke, he drives away on his
Yeah,
motorcycle.
he drives away. And she's now like, oh, what do you do this to all the girls? She's kind of pissed, but then kind of not. She looks like she's probably cold. And he does drive back. And
Right.
she's wooed again by his probably by his outfit. He's got this beautiful white scarf that he wears on this
God.
bike, and this leather outfit with this white, and she's in like a full leather, like just cleavage busting. Well, she's not in it now. So yeah, she gets
No,
dressed.
she's dressed like Catwoman without a mask.
Yeah,
like
there you
it
go.
is just head to toe leather. But again, the zipper is down to her navel. Like,
Yes.
These are impractical outfits to ride on a motorcycle in.
Let's think practicalities here, guys. Okay, I know we're falling in love and everything.
Yeah,
And
wear a helmet.
He's the kid.
I know you
right.
love your hair.
Yeah, no
Prince.
helmets. No helmets. No, you would mess up that coiffure.
Oh, but he does tease her. He comes back for her on the motorcycle.
Oh, yes, he's still kind of a dick. Yeah, so he makes her jump in this water. It's not the right water. He laughs at her, drives away, comes back for her, and does that dick move where he tries to tell her to get on the bike, but then keeps driving the bike
He's
slowly
driving
away. And she
and
still
he
gets
does
on.
it like 3 times.
Yes, he's not nice about it. But eventually she gets on the bike and they drive off.
But she is okay with all of this. And that's why
She
I think
likes
she's
it.
just trying to use him for her career.
That's where I
How
think
would you
she's
be
a
totally fine with
prostitute.
all the stuff he's just done?
Because you're up. I don't know.
I don't think that's the only time she's taken her clothes off outside for a strange
Well,
man.
I would have to agree with that. I think
So maybe
got
she's
some
used to
whorish
this.
Maybe this is how she. And again, when you are taken by Prince, when you see him live like that, and you make that magnetic connection to that performer, I mean, who's to say? Who's to say what you'll take? She took some slaps in the face. I'll tell you that later on.
She was fine with that.
Yeah.
She was okay with that. She was almost ready for more. She's like, is that all? I did expect her to go, is that all you got, little man?
Poor Prince. It is not easy for him. So even though he's kind of a jerk, which we see, he's kind of a
Right.
jerk to this girl. He's kind of a jerk to his band, right? The band and him are not necessarily
Well,
getting
we
along.
haven't really seen that yet, but that is explained by Morris at one point.
Yes. No, but this is when he shows up late to, right? Doesn't he show up late to,
Well, no, this is okay. First of all, this is when Morris and his bodyguard do a really bad "Who's
this
on
is the
First" routine,
terrible, oh my God, this is where the comedy just goes, like, we didn't need to see this.
and it's so painfully unfunny
Mm-hmm.
to watch because it keeps going.
They kind of beat it into the ground a little bit, and then isn't Morris getting his shoe shined during
Yeah.
all of this too? Like his assistant or whatever, his bodyguard is shining his shoes, and they have a very it was awkward password conversation about
Yeah,
knowing.
there's a password for when Apollonia shows up. Let me know, but don't
Right,
let my
right.
other women hear that. Oh, it's just
My other
it's
asses or
so
something. My other sexies, he
stupid.
calls
It's
them, I think.
so dumb, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't need this comedy in this movie. It's already funny enough. Like Morris's facial expressions are enough throughout this
Right.
movie.
And some of his dance moves are pretty funny.
Oh.
At one point does like a bird dance,
Like a
at the very
chicken
end.
dance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and he has a dance in the beginning that he does because he plays after the kid in the Revolution, and he does another dance where he's got a mirror held in front of him on stage, and he sings
Yes.
to the mirror, and you're like, "What are you? Are you a singer or a comedy?"
It's like it's like he's a bad prop comic
Yeah.
who just wandered into a band at one
Yes.
point.
Yeah. So then you're right, though. This whole exchange between him and his
Oh, it's
guy
so
or-
bad to watch.
but the
I
next
literally
ex-
sat there and I was like, when is this scene going to end?
why
Like,
are they
how
making
much
the joke over and
longer?
over again? I kept
Yeah.
saying, like, why? I get the joke. Da-da-da. With the,
Oh, but I know what you're going to say next.
Oh,
for the next
this
scene.
next
And this
scene.
is my favorite scene in the movie. There's 2 scenes in this movie which are great.
Okay.
There's this one and Sadly, it sounds bad, but when we get to it, it's great. A suicide
suicide.
scene. Those are the two greatest moments of this movie. And
besides the performances, besides some of the musical performances. Which
those are good for different reasons.
Magical. Right.
Go into it. Talk about what's happening backstage.
Now we're kind of we're back, I guess, at the club, and we're seeing the band. I think that Prince is late for rehearsal, or they're getting ready for a show. They're all together in the dressing room. And there's tension. It's clear that there's tension.
Well, the women literally say, "You don't use our songs. Like you never even listen to our songs.
Songs
you don't."
For him that he ignores. Yes, and he's just kind of, you could tell he's kind of pompous. He's kind of a dick kind of guy. Like you get that feeling.
I don't
that he's
think
like
he talks to his band throughout this entire movie.
No,
because it is a weird passive aggressive move to respond to them through a puppet. A puppet that's in a cup where you push a stick and this puppet flies up and
it's like a solo cup. All of a sudden, out of the blue, they're all arguing intense, and he starts talking to.
He is extremely talented as a ventriloquist, though. I have to tell you, his mouth
and the puppet gives
doesn't
him
even
advice.
move.
No, you're right. I never even realized how good of a ventriloquist he is. I'm so overtaken by his outfits and his performances. I forgot. He does do quite a number. And then, wait, do we see the purple solo cup again? Do we see the puppet again?
No, it's just in that one scene.
All right. But it does give him some sound advice.
No, first it talks to his band. It's like, I don't even know what it says.
And then it tells him.
After they leave, he's still talking to this puppet like he's
and
insane.
It's like, life's a bitch. What are you going to
do? They're a bunch of jerks, Prince. You're the greatest ever. You can do anything you want without them. And I literally thought, I was like, is this movie taking a crazy turn for that Prince
where
is
are we going?
legitimately insane? Like,
no, it is.
That would
it
explain the way that he treated Apollonia. That would be explained by his home life. And I was like, oh, is this movie going down a weird road?
But then we never see him. We
doesn't.
never see the puppet again.
Never
but
see it.
It does offer a moment of just hilarity and like, what are we
wonderful.
Doing? Yeah,
I assume
it's
if
a
you
lot
don't
of
feel
fun.
like watching this movie, I assume you can probably go to YouTube and type in Purple Rain Prince Ventriloquist and just watch this scene. It's worth it.
It is. Okay, so after he gets a pep talk, I guess, from his puppet, he has a performance to which Apollonia, once again, is at the club, but now she's having champagne with Morris, who is trying to kind of woo her. And she, like you said, she is kind of open. She is a little bit kind of,
Listen, I don't blame Morris for anything that he does in this movie.
You are such a proponent for Morris in this film. He is such a character. He's a kind of a slime ball.
No. Well, okay, yes, he is, yes. But he refers to Prince, I think, a few times as kind of a pompous jerk. And he's right.
Well, and sure, but he's got a lot going on as a pompous jerk.
And he sees that this Apollonia woman, this attractive, buxom woman, can maybe be part of his band.
Oh, right.
He's just taking advantage of the situation.
Well, his conversation skills. He talks to her
it's great.
over champagne, which, by the way, he's like, most expensive champagne. He whispers some kind of joke about the champagne. Everything, like you said, he's such a character that everything he says is
He yells about the champagne. He's like, bring us your finest champagne. And he holds up money. I guess it's 100, and the waitress grabs it. And then he goes, keep the change. And then he calls his bodyguard over and goes, hey, get my change.
Yeah, there you go. And then he makes conversation with her about his brass waterbed, right? You got to come to my house and see my brass waterbed. And his Italian cook.
It's so wonderful because it's a total joke. Like, he knows it's a joke. He's kind of laughing. She's kind of laughing.
Yes.
He's a bit of a charmer, I'm going to say.
Well,
except for the fact that he looks terrifying. Like, his facial expressions are insane. So Yeah, she's in danger either way she goes, with Prince or Morris.
Well, now Prince has another performance, so now we have, again, we're treated to all these wonderful little Prince performances throughout the movie, which is what makes...
They are not little Prince performances.
Oh, they're not? Okay.
You may refer to him as Little Prince. That's fine. These are full songs. These are start to finish.
Oh, let's not... live...
Yes. We don't get segments of Prince songs here. We get an entire album throughout this movie.
We get full writhing, too, I think. This is the first song where he lays on the floor. It's The Beautiful Ones. It's a great song off the Purple Rain album. Have you ever seen this movie? Well, I guess we'll talk about that at the end. I have listened to the album before, and so the songs I knew. So this is a great song, and I didn't realize how he sings it. He sings it directly to It's For Apollonia, right? And this is when he sings, the whole band and him, this is the one song they sing and then they're off. They sing one song and then they're done. Right? You were talking about him being pompous? Yes.
Right,
a little bit, yes.
One song, they leave the stage. And this is when I was really confused when I was watching this. I'm like, is this how it works? Like, is this the deal? But
well,
no,
when
because
you're the kid in the revolution.
But the club owner... The fat dude in a
right.
baseball hat and giant plastic sunglasses. Like, he chases him down, and he just.
I didn't know who he was at first.
I didn't know
either. Club owner. I thought he was like a manager, but he's in a sweatsuit all the time.
He's in a sweatsuit all the time.
An overweight man, and again, he's another one. They all wear.
He looks especially. Listen, put sunglasses on one of the fat boys. He's one of the fat boys.
That's what he is.
That's exactly who he looks like. Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry I don't know the individual fat boys. Or I would or I would pick the one that he looks most like, but
You're
don't
losing
know.
your street cred. Don't lose your street cred.
Oh. Yeah. If the fat boys give you street cred, I don't want that street cred.
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you who does have street cred is our man, the kid. When he takes how does he get her back
with those outfits?
Again, him and Apollonia, when they meet to go hang out, it's always kind of randomly. Like, again, they kind of meet. She's like hanging out down the fire escape after this performance.
She's waiting for him in the shadows under the fire escape, and he goes to his bike, and you hear her. And as she's walking out from the shadows, I'm like, is she seriously naked again? Like, is she waiting in this disgusting alley by these garbage cans, totally nude? But she's not. So
no, she's just, again, a lot of cleavage. She's always just kind of hanging out. But they go now to, because where does he live? He goes to his parents' house, and they watch. This is awkward, right? So they get to the house, and they're watching. Instead of now, the last time we saw Prince's parents, dad was beating the mom. It's an abusive relationship. We're not in a good way. Now they're like hot and heavy on the couch. They're like making out and heavy petting on the couch, right?
They have a complicated relationship.
I guess one could say that. Well, him and Apollonia watch this, and he's like, "What a freak show, huh?" She's like, yeah.
And why folks, she doesn't say, why do you still live with your parents, is beyond me.
Aren't you 32? No.
Right.
Well.
Yes. I haven't lived with my parents since I was 12, and they threw me out for stealing. That should be a line in this
movie.
And
I've been hooking ever since, said Apollonia.
This should all be lines in this movie. Give her character some sort of depth. We don't know anything about her at all.
Well, this is as deep as her character gets now. Now she gets her little, right? Is this?
Yes.
Well, besides her musical performance, so he takes her down to his little basement room where he puts on, this is kind of fun, he puts on the tape on his little radio. So we actually see like he plays her a tape of some weird, it's like a woman moaning.
Yes.
And he tells her that it's an ex-lover crying in reverse, right?
Jamie?
I think that's what, yes?
And female listeners out there.
Yeah.
If you ever go back to a guy's apartment or house and he puts on music and tells you that it is an ex-girlfriend moaning or sobbing,
right,
you leave that place immediately.
Yeah, and then he's living in the basement of
that
his
is
parents' house.
Bad news. Yeah, I've never seen so much basement used in a movie that wasn't about a serial killer.
True, I didn't think of it that way, but you're right.
This is upsetting. Like, why would he record somebody crying?
Well,
like, what do you do? Like, just go for the equipment? And first of all, why was this girl crying? And second of all, does he just like have a mic there, just hold it up to her face?
well, she
as
does
she's
to
sobbing?
ask him. She's like, "Is that what you do to all your lovers or something?" And then, but now all of a sudden,
And he goes, "Yes."
yeah.
Is that weird? Again, not a line from this movie, but it should be.
But it should be. But it should be. So now we have our sex scene of the movie,
Yep.
where Prince remains fully clothed the entire time.
Fully clothed. And they're
it's just,
both fully clothed. I
Well,
understand that
she is-
she's wearing less clothing than he is, but it's not as though this is a nude scene in this movie.
No, and it's not really a sex scene. All it is Prince rubbing some titty. Prince is rubbing her boobs a lot, and he
This
kind
is
of
when
like
she
rubs
does
her
stand
crotch.
up. First, she's bent over in front of him, which is
Oh,
weird.
you're right.
Because
Yes,
he's
yes.
rubbing away behind
He's just
her.
rubbing. He's just rubbing. With
I
the
do
weird-
like this part, though, because she does stand up in front of him, but it completely obscures him because he's so
He's
little.
so tiny.
Like, all you can see are his little hands, his little arms, because the rest of his body
Just kind of
is
poking
totally
out.
hidden by her.
Oh, and this is when, so besides this weird rubbing, sexual rub down that he does, where we're just get to kind of be whatever, we see more of his bad kissing. He really just looks like he's just like attacking her face. I just feel bad.
You're really
he's
hung
such
up
a
on
suave
this.
guy. He's such a suave performer. You would just think that he would have worked on it.
Maybe he was uncomfortable on camera for those scenes.
Let's say that
He doesn't seem like he doesn't seem as though he's uncomfortable at all throughout this movie.
No,
He
not in
seems
the
a little
least.
too comfortable mugging for the camera and winking and just like licking his lips and like there's really weird stuff that he does in this movie.
Oh. Now, is this sex scene, was this what made it? Is this rated R? Did this sex scene make it rated R?
Yeah,
Or
they filmed the sex
was it-
scene several different times for like a PG rating, and then they
yeah.
filmed it for an R rating. There is
Was
later
this-
we see a in a montage, the only montage we get in this movie, where they're having
Oh,
sex
when he
in
has
a
the
barn.
flashbacks. Yes.
Yes.
He has the flashbacks.
Well,
yes.
apparently
To
they
When Doves
had to
Cry.
cut that out because that would have gotten them an
The barn sex.
NC-17 rating. Yeah.
Oh.
So that was a whole other scene that they filmed but didn't
All
use,
right.
which is why it's so confusing. At one point, we see all these scenes from the movie that we
Yes.
saw, and then a random barn sex scene that we had no idea ever
We're like,
happened.
when did they go to the farm? What?
Right.
When did they? Well, but this is their first sex scene that happens that we're lucky enough to see. And then, of course, he's late again to rehearsal, and the band is not happy with him.
No.
But he don't care. He just got laid. And the band, the girls, the Wendy and Lisa are really pissed about him not singing
Right. Yes.
their music. That's one of the bottom lines. Besides, he just...
That's the gist of it. The guys in his band have no personality. They barely have any lines. It's really
Yeah.
just a conflict between.
Well, you mentioned the one is in Scrubs, which I didn't remember, but apparently one of them, maybe he's an ER nurse or doctor or something. I mean, they've got other things on their mind.
He has to be ready.
You
His
know?
beeper goes off.
Yes.
He's gotta go. He literally is wearing scrubs and a surgical mask that hangs down for
Yes.
every time he's on camera. This is what he's wearing.
Yes. I didn't notice.
And it's crazy because I did research and I looked up the Revolution. In
Oh, yeah?
every promotional photo, that's how he's dressed.
Really?
That must be his thing.
Oh, he must be like the doctor of what instrument? He was the drummer, you said?
He was the drummer, yes.
Oh, I wonder if that was like, I bet it was. I don't know enough about the Revolution. but
What
if
I
did my
don't
research-
understand, though, is if this is his thing, why Prince didn't put a stop to it right away? Like, why didn't Prince, the first time he showed him, he's like, Prince, this is what I'm doing now.
Well, because
why
again,
did Prince
nope,
not just go, nope, you're not in the band, get out?
I think it's a simple backup costume that accompanies Prince's glamour. Just, stay in scrubs. Don't think about what's like wearing a uniform to school. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Yeah. Wear your khakis and your blue shirt. You know,
It
don't think about it.
confuses me more because everyone else in the band, women included, are
Yeah.
dressed like Prince. Like
True,
they're
true.
little
They all
tiny
have
princes.
that. It's that kind of 80s glam rock or like kind of.
Yeah.
It's
So
very-
the fact that this
yeah.
guy did his own thing,
You
I think
applaud it.
I applaud him and we'll get into more of it later. I applaud Prince.
All right.
This movie made me respect Prince more than I ever thought it would.
Well,
Not based on his
excellent.
performance whatsoever.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Perhaps based on his parents' performance.
His dad's performance is great. His mom does nothing but fall to the ground every now
What's
and
his
then.
dad from? Was
His dad is
in-
from Half Baked. That's where I knew him from.
yeah.
He plays Samson Simpson. in
Yes,
Half-Baked,
that's right. That's right.
Who is a big drug lord in that
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
And it's hilarious. If people haven't, why did I not choose Half Baked for my recommendation?
Well, now you
My
can. We didn't
recommendation
get there
is
yet. You
Half-Baked.
should- It's not what you planned on, but there you have it. All right.
Go see Half Baked. It's great. All right.
Plugging it in the middle of,
So where are-
Purple Rain.
That's it. What are our final judgments?
Yeah. We're not even halfway through. We're about there.
We
We're
gotta
at
be halfway through. We're coming up on an hour. Oh my
We're
god.
at a very sad Prince now, right? We've seen his parents who are freaking crazy, once again, fighting, right? Oh, well, before this, so yes, the band hates him. Apollonia Morris wants to sign with Apollonia.
Morris
Yeah.
gives Apollonia a song.
Yes, life is going downhill for the kid quickly.
I guess she's just trying to advance her career, and he's not helping. Clearly, she's not getting help from Prince.
Well, true.
She needs to.
She's got to seek other avenues.
We'll get into it, but he is not justified with the way he reacts to this.
Well, no. No, so she comes to him. That's right. Okay, so we're back at his place where, again, his parents are just fucked up and they're fighting.
It's the
They
same
have a-
scene as before.
Yes.
He hits her.
And
then,
he's left very sad. Prince is once
Right.
again sad. But is this when she comes by with the guitar?
This is
right?
when she comes by with the guitar, the gift.
I don't know
Very
where she gets
expensive.
this money because she's broke, seemed. She's got this beautiful white guitar that she buys him, and he's so excited about. And again, they do their awkward making out. This is when we have a weird flash of the porcelain clown dolls. Did you notice that? It's like all of a sudden they start making out.
It is a strange basement.
Right.
I was anytime I was in this basement, again, serial killer, I was very
Mm-hmm.
disoriented. I didn't know where I was. Later on, he takes a baseball bat and starts smashing stuff, and it's like
Yeah,
jars
you're like-
of preserve.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
Right. I was like, I didn't see
so
this room.
weird.
Where is he?
Yes, but no, he has like
Yeah.
a collection of clowns. Like, I think he just wants to be a ventriloquist. Like, that's his.
Oh, yeah.
fallback,
Maybe
I
that's
guess.
part of his thing.
Yes.
Well, she tells him, now they're hot and heavy, but she tells him that she's going to sign with Morris or whatever, sing with Morris.
Yep.
And he slaps her, right? He
Immediately.
gets so mad that he's
Immediately.
just like daddy, just like his daddy was.
She
He
bought
slaps
him
her
a
right across
guitar.
the-
I don't know
Yes.
what guitars cost, but he could not afford this. She just bought him a guitar, and he smacks her
He smacks her.
to the ground 10
Yeah.
seconds later. Like,
Yeah.
it is,
Yes. It's. You're right. The women in this film are just slapped around.
But again,
and she.
it doesn't seem to bother her all that much.
No, she's kind of just like, yeah. I mean, she's upset, but yeah, she doesn't understand why. And does she sneak back out the window? Doesn't she like go out the window when she
Yeah,
leaves?
I don't know
or
how they
something?
get
She
into this
crawls
basement.
out.
The window is enormous. The window's huge.
Right,
It's like a
right.
walk-in window. It's very strange.
Well, so life now he's showing these bad signs of like being like his dad, and the band now he goes to band rehearsal again, and the girls aren't
Yeah,
even.
I mean, the very next scene is the club owner,
oh, that's right.
basically saying, "Listen, my club can only hold 3 bands. Now we have 4 because there's
Right.
this new band."
Oh, that's right, because Apollonia's got her
Right?
band
Yes.
up.
So one band has to go. So it's like
Right.
everybody's on. I don't want to say probation because they're allowed to play, but I guess it's like
Right.
this trial period where you better do great or else you're out.
Somebody's gonna
Yes.
go. Right,
Uh-huh.
right. And the kicker of it
Which,
is
by
that
the way,
it's-
is never resolved.
no. Well, kind of. At the
No,
end, you
it's
kind of just
not
figure.
resolved. What
Well, you
band is
just figure
kicked out?
Apollonia's band is not really.
Oh yeah,
performing.
yeah, okay. I guess as a viewer, that's what we're supposed to think.
Yes.
Okay. Because it's made quite clear by
but
that
she's not a
performance.
Well, like, depending what you're looking for, I guess.
Right.
Whatever. The next scene is that montage scene you were
Right.
talking about, where we get all the
Yes.
flashbacks. It's lovely. It's done to When Doves Cry, which is a great song. And we do kind of see... we see he goes to all the places where he and Apollonia went, which was basically like the lake. He sits around by the lake a lot and just like looks out, all curious,
like
like
a
or all
lake,
sad.
and he
Yeah,
drives under a bridge. It's kinda
he
gross,
just keeps
like-
riding the motorcycle around, and then there's the random barn sex that we saw. Where again,
Yep.
we're like, when did they take the trip to the farm? What is? This?
I almost went back and I was like, did I totally miss a sex scene somewhere in this movie? But no.
No. It was just part of the montage. And we hear the whole song. I think it's to the entire When Doves Cry.
Clearly,
right?
it's the whole
Yes,
song.
it's the whole thing. And we get back to his house where now, again, things are always tumultuous. at the kids'.
It's escalating violence at his house. Now his mom is
his mom's
outside the house,
outside,
just
yep.
sobbing and seems to be catatonic. Like he tries to comfort
she's
her.
crazy.
And
I mean,
she
I'm
doesn't
not-
seem to be aware that he's even there.
I'm not saying that, like you said, domestic violence is bad and the dad is a jerk of a guy, but she seems like she's a little bit crazy herself. Like she's on something all the time, or, she definitely, his parents are crazy.
I think she has maybe 3 words to say throughout this entire
Yeah,
film.
she sobs a lot.
Her
She
role
sobs
is
a lot.
cry, 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 get hit, fall down,
Yeah.
get back up, cry, get hit, fall down.
True.
Pretty much that's it. She's asleep. In her last scene in this movie, she's just sleeping.
Right.
That's it. It's like,
Yeah, she's just laying.
like,
laying.
just lay down. You don't need to say anything or even acknowledge that you have a son throughout the entire movie.
No, yeah, she doesn't. So she's in a bad way again. He goes in, hunts down his dad, who now we see.
This is
that
when
his
he's running through
dad-
the house going, hey, fucker, I'm going to get you. Like he's really angry.
That's
It's
right. He's
so
really,
funny.
he's so mad. Like he's
like a-
added up to here with his
It's like a
dad's
teeny tiny
shenanigans.
prince wanting to start a fight with somebody.
Teeny-
It's actually adorable.
He finds him though,
Yeah.
and he finds him playing piano because now we know a little bit more about the dad. Dad's kind of a musical prodigy himself. It
Yep.
seems like mom never encouraged him, so he's sort of a tortured artist, much
Never
like his
encouraged
son.
him.
He does say at one point
She was
when
too
they're
busy
fighting,
not cleaning the house to encourage
exactly,
him.
and not cooking dinner or whatever.
Right.
But they have a little heart to heart. Did you realize the
Mm-hmm.
advice that the kid, that Prince's dad, gives him?
About not getting married because it'll destroy your life.
Yes. He's like, no, just never get married. He asked him, do you have a girlfriend? And Prince is like, well, yeah. He's like, do you love her? Do you want to marry her? Well, just don't ever get married. And that's how he leaves it. And that's the end of that scene.
That's
the moving speech between himself and his unstable.
And I do have to
father.
say, I just talked about his dad briefly being in Half-Baked, which might not be his best performance, but it's still good. He's clearly
Still
like
good.
head and shoulders above anyone else acting wise in this
Well,
movie.
is anyone else even actors?
IMDb told me that Apollonia is an actor.
No, she can't be.
No, and they said
Maybe a
somebody
porn
else, but I
actor.
forget who else it was. I'm just gonna say the Fat Boys guy. Let's just say that he's the other actor.
the manager.
I don't
Okay,
but yes,
I'll take it.
Yeah, IMDb, and we know that IMDb can be trusted with everything.
Yeah, it's a
Said
trusted
that
site.
there are 3 actors in this movie. Everybody else, not an actor at all.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't not believe that. So after Prince's advice that he gets from his dad, very moving advice, we're on to another musical number. This is when he wears the Lone Ranger mask, where he sings that hot and heavy song.
That
a
is
very
not
sultry
a Lone
performance.
Ranger mask. That is a lace black mask that is very frilly.
Well,
It
and
is
his
something
performance-
that one of the women would have worn in Eyes Wide Shut.
But Prince works it. Oh boy, does
Oh, he does.
This is that song. This is again. He's singing to her, so she's in the audience.
She's always there. Yeah. Yep.
And this is the, I think it's Darling Nikki is the song, and it's
Right.
it's basically about a whore, and he sings it right to her, and it's a very provocative song, and his performance is
Well, this
again,
is what
writhing.
he is totally shirtless. He just has that mask on. Mm-hmm. It's
very
so
glowy.
slow, and he's so upset, and it's just so screaming and whiny. And so is the next song, because now we get 2 in a row.
Yes, yes.
The lights change from, what, dark blue to red for the other song?
Oh, yes. It's
Yes.
the Darling Nikki, that's the red, and then, yes. Yes. But he, too, so he gets himself all worked up to the song. Even the audience doesn't know what to do with it. He gets in trouble later on for singing the song. This is one of his times. He does a lot of pacing in his dressing room in between songs, and this is a time where he sings this song. It freaks him out. It clearly is about her and hurts her feelings, and he goes down back to his dressing room and just paces. The sweatsuit guy, the club owner, comes and kind of calls him a lot like his dad, his dad.
You're like your dad.
Yeah.
You don't get your personal shit out on my stage.
Yeah. What does he say to him about his performance? That you're the only one that likes
Let
what
me
you
give you some advice,
understands.
because I wrote this down. Let me give you some advice. Your music makes no sense to anyone but yourself. Which, if you're looking for an insult, that's pretty good, actually.
Well, especially if you're
to insult a musician like
Prince.
that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, true.
But it's kind of like he gives him a second chance, though, because he's like, you better do better next time.
Right. Well, I think because you never know what you're going to get out of Prince, and so maybe here's hoping, right? You do know, well, I don't know that you do. Our next musical number, I guess, if you can call it that.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen on film. It's really
not even really. Okay, so we've talked about how Prince is all dressed up and decked out in his frills. Well, when Apollonia performs her song, Sex Shooter, is that what it's called?
No, that's what it's called, yes. Their big hit, I'm assuming. They made an entire album. I am so curious to find this album.
Wait, it's a real album?
Oh, it's a real album.
They're a real band?
The Apollonia 6. Yeah, they're a band put together by Prince. If you had any respect for Prince, that should be thrown out the window by the fact that he discovered Apollonia.
She stands in this lace nightie number, and the girls are next to her wearing barely nothing. 2 girls. There's not 6.
No, there's
Apollonia
not 6. There's 3 of them.
There's 3 of them all together. And they are basically naked and dancing on. It's like a burlesque show. It's not even like a... But the crowd goes wild for them. I will say. The crowd loves them, and Prince is in the crowd. The kid is in the crowd. He's wearing his just like everyone else in the audience. He is wearing his big kind of glassy sunglasses, reflective sunglasses rather, and watching her, of courure. And
I almost wanted him to give a smile, like he realizes this is total shit. You are the worst. And I'm so glad that Morris's reputation is now destroyed. But he doesn't. Because
he doesn't.
You're right. She flips her hair.
Yes.
And she still has his earring in, which he gave her right before he smacked the shit out of her.
Before he smacked her, right. Now, she's so pumped about her performance. She and her in her little outfit and her cape that she wears, she goes and gets drunk with Morris, right? They're kind of celebrating, and you kind of think that her and Morris are going to get it on. Right?
They are. I don't think there's any question
as
to what is about
not when
to happen.
She hears. Then all of a sudden, she's like a Pavlov dog. Like, she hears the rev of Prince's motorcycle, and she's like, what?
Prince is like Batman in this movie.
Yes.
In that he is always there to, quote-unquote, save her. First of all, she's never in any danger. But, you're right, he rides it on a motorcycle.
Yes.
He runs over Morris, which
is this when he runs him over?
Yeah. Right there.
He runs him over. Pushes him down, I think, first, right?
And
then runs him over?
He hits him.
Into the trash,
hits him with the bike, and he falls into a big pile of trash.
Yes. And this is when, and then he gets her. He
forces her to get on this bike again.
Yes. And this is another weird. She gets off the bike and does some kind of weird, because she's drunk.
She's terrified of him.
Yeah, you don't know if he's gonna rape her. What's about to happen here? You're questioning what's gonna. And she's got not a carafe. What does she have?
A carafe. That would be great. She has a carafe and a candelabra, and she's backing away. No, she has a flask.
A flask, thank you. She has a flask that she's drinking out of that I guess Morris gave her or whatever. They're under some bridge. He's taken her there. He's making weird advances at her. She sips from the flask, and he doesn't like her drinking. He's straight edge, apparently.
Sure.
So he slaps her. He slaps her again, right? He beats her for drinking.
Yeah.
And
he's,
gets,
I mean, I thought he was just going to go to town. Like, that he was going to just keep
well, every
hitting
time
her.
he does, you
Yes.
wonder. Yeah.
Yeah. But he doesn't.
No. And she throws his earring at him. She takes his earring out and she throws it at him. And it's a tumultuous relationship the two of them have. But no more tumultuous than he goes back to his house now. So he's, again, we're not in a good place here. The kid is not in a good place mentally.
This is
hitting
just
his girl.
one
He's watched her
mental
perform.
blow after another. Yes.
This is quite the blow. House is a mess. There's broken glass everywhere, and something is amiss. Dad's got a gun.
I did not think I could laugh at this so much a second time because of recording this again.
Okay. So, do you have to? Wait, we didn't even say it. Okay, so his dad has a gun, and the dad has shot himself.
I thought
right?
he killed the mom. Like, I really thought when Prince came
Oh,
back
no. See,
and
I
he
knew-
walked inside and everything was wrecked and he couldn't
Right.
find his mom, he couldn't find his dad. And then when he sees his dad with the gun, I'm like, oh my God, this is a murder-suicide. Like, that's
No,
where
I
this
figured
is
that
going.
the dad was a tortured artist, so he couldn't handle the way he treated the mom. So yes, dad shoots himself. He sees it happen, right? It's like this awful, and then
He does see it happen.
cops-
He turns on the light, which
Yes,
is timed to a gunshot. Yes.
yes.
Maybe the
And-
best part of editing in this movie.
But this is, I mean, come on. Now, right away, the detectives are there. They're questioning, and while he's being questioned, there's the chalk outline of the body on the ground, and the gun is pointed to his head, like as if when they outline. And P.S. There's a chalk outline of his body, and later on we find out he's not even dead. He's got a bandage around his
They
head.
must have called the paramedics and then drew a chalk outline around a living man's body. That is not police
Very
work. Like,
bizarre. It's very bizarre, and it's kind of
it's so comically
It's another one of
stupid.
those-
It's
yes.
just kind of like whoever made this movie is like, I've seen police procedurals. I know what happens when
what they
somebody
do,
is
yeah.
dead. They just draw a chalk outline, and then he goes, "Oh wait, but he's not
but he
dead.
shot
I don't."
himself, so he's got the
Shot himself
gun,
in the
yeah.
head. Oh my God, it's the greatest. It's so dumb, and it almost seems to be making fun of something that's so tragic.
that's so sad. I know, but it's great. It's as a dark time as it is for the movie. There is just some light in it. Just based off of the. Oh my God.
I didn't understand the next scene either. Like, after the detectives leave, like, they silently interrogate him, which is also a great scene because it's
He's so
silent.
sad.
Like, it's silent interrogation. You can't hear what they're saying and everything. And when they get up, you can hear all their footsteps.
All their footsteps.
So I'm like, wait, so they just mouthed that out? Like, you didn't even cut sound on that? Like, it's so bad. But then Prince is very broken up, of course,
Oh
about
yeah,
this.
of course, yeah.
But it
And
keeps
he-
flashing between the gun and a rope.
Oh, and the
on
rope.
The
Yeah,
ground.
that's right.
I
The
don't
gun and the
understand
rope.
the rope.
So
Why
you
is there a
wonder, like,
rope?
is it that he wants to commit suicide now, or that these were the two ways that Dad was going to do it, or what? You don't know what to think, but he does. So
And he was
Prince
going to
now,
kill himself in Prince's love nest basement
yeah,
too,
in
which
his
is
love nest.
which is very upsetting. Like, you don't
Yeah.
do that.
P.S. You don't. do
P.S.
that.
and don't kill yourself, okay?
Yeah, which he doesn't. So happy endings there.
Right.
But he does. Prince sort of freaks out and rummages, like breaks a bunch of crap, and he finds all his dad's sheet music.
Yes.
And right, and this is kind of a little redemptive part of, very pretty part of the movie. Prince finds the music. He's playing at the piano. There's sunlight. It's very nice. And next we have just just a concert performance,
I
right?
mean, this is the
Three-song
end
show.
of the movie. This
Yes.
movie has just been as comically dark as it could be, and everything is wrapped up within about 2 minutes.
Well, in about 2 minutes. No, it takes about the next 15 because we have 3 performances.
14
3
of that
songs
is
to
a
watch.
performance.
Right. So we're back we're at a concert, and it's showtime. And again, we don't see it's a show, but Apollonia's band has performed only one time.
Oh, yeah,
in
they're
this
done.
movie.
They're
not
totally
performing
out.
tonight. The opening act or the first act is Morris and the Time. This is
Yes.
where he does his weird bird dance
With his
that I don't
chicken dance, where
understand.
he puts his arms on he puts his hands on his hips, and he's got his pants really high, and he's got that bright yellow
Like
jacket
blazer,
on, and
yeah,
he's like doing
uh-huh.
a chicken dance, and it's really ridiculous.
It's very bizarre, yes. But he does it again. Crowd doesn't hate him. Crowd doesn't hate
Oh,
him.
the crowd loves
But
him.
now,
I do have to say his music is very up tempo.
yeah.
And if
you
this
could
is
say
a
that.
dance club, it's stuff people can move around to. For as
You're
ridiculous
correct.
as
You're
it
correct.
is.
I guess you could say that.
Oh, also, we didn't mention that Apollonia's band has no musical instruments. It is literally
Oh, yeah,
three
you're right. They're
nearly
just
naked
writhing
women
on stage. Yeah.
singing on stage and barely dancing.
Yes. It's sad.
It is sad. And that's really the end of her for this movie, too.
Yeah.
Like, she's in the
yeah,
crowd
we
at the
see
end,
her-
but that's it.
Well, we see at the end again through the 3 songs that he sings. We wrap
Right.
up the ending. The first one being it's the titular song. So now he is up. Prince and Revolution performs. He gets on stage. What's it going to be? The last performance he had was that a very
could it be?
offensive, writhing one.
In a movie with a title like Purple Rain,
What's he going to do?
he gonna say?
does. It's the titular song.
It
is what he
is.
sings.
It
It's
is.
the titular song.
and I
He-
realize
he-
you haven't been saying that recently. They must have said the word scanners 300 times in scanners. You never once said titular throughout that entire podcast.
I know, but I couldn't wait to bust it out for this.
All right, okay,
You should
great.
know that.
Okay, all right.
I wrote down titular, like underlined big in my.
It's your
notes.
only note.
Exactly. Titular performance now.
You're just doing this
So-
movie from memory.
That's it. So he gets on stage and he announces that this song is for his dad. Now, anybody in the audience that knows has to know what.
I guess.
Dad's in a bad way. And it's also, he says it was written by the girl, it was written by the band, by Wendy and Lisa. This is their song.
And Wendy
So- and-
is so excited. I do like when he says that, and then they show Wendy, she's like, oh,
Well, I'm confused because apparently the band has never rehearsed this song, but they're winging it, and they do a immaculate performance.
It's
Dedicated
Purple
to
Rain.
Dad,
We've heard it on the
the
radio
band song.
3,000 times. It's a great song. Yes.
It's a great song, and he plays the shit out of it. And his stage performances are Prince. They're amazing. They're
Yes.
pulsating. They're wonderful, and they are moved by this song. The people in the audience, when they hear Purple Rain,
This is like
they
the
are all
4th time
swaying.
Apollonia cries to a Prince song in this
True,
movie.
true.
Yeah.
She's moved by all of them. Let's be
Yeah.
real. But even the club owner or the sweatshop
Loves it.
guy, sweatshop guy.
Sweat shit.
The guy wearing the sweatsuit.
Yeah.
He is very moved by the performance
He
of
loves
this
it.
song.
Yeah.
And it is awesome. It is awesome. The audience.
But he doesn't know it's awesome. I mean, that's it. I think he thinks that is the last song he will ever sing at this club, because when
Well,
he's
he
done,
goes-
he leaves. He actually
paces.
goes out to
he
his
goes downstairs and
motorcycle.
paces again. Yeah.
No,
Oh,
but
yeah.
he leaves. He goes out to the back alley to his motorcycle to get on it to, I guess, ride away. But he
But
hears
no.
the crowd.
And they're excited. They
They
want
are.
more.
They
want
want more.
encore. They
That's
were not
right.
just going to take one song tonight, kid. And he doesn't. He performs two others, I think. 2?
He does.
One of which is one of my favorite Prince songs is Baby I'm a Star.
Okay, all right.
Baby I'm a... but what was the other one that he performs? Why can't I remember?
I don't know. They all run together to me. Sorry.
Well, they do.
Sorry, Prince fans.
But yeah, the ending of the movie, and then the final shot is like him looking over his shoulder, right, with purple
so
all around it.
weird.
It's so cheesy.
It's
super
it's
cheesy.
so terrible. And
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Is this our 21st movie?
Episode? Yes, I think it is.
There have been, I'm going to say, freeze frames at the end of a quarter of the movies we've seen.
Well,
That
it's the
must have
80s,
been
so yeah.
very big. I know there was one at the end of Breakin'. I mean, clearly there had to
This
have
movie
been.
reminded me of Breakin'
Oh, yeah, me
somewhat,
too.
like at
Yes.
times. The attitude that Prince had was very much like our Turbo attitude, or Ray's, I forget their names.
I don't know, Boogaloo
And
Shrimp.
Boogaloo, that's right. But yeah, the ending of this movie is just three
It's just
of
a
his
freeze
performances, and then
frame on
the
his
credits are
face.
weird too, because in the credits it's like medley of songs. It's never a full
Oh.
song, so
Well,
it's kind of
see, that's the thing, and this is what I wanted to let our audience know.
oh yeah.
If you get the soundtrack to this movie, you're going to get some Morris songs on that, and you're going to get that Apollonia song. So you want to buy the Purple Rain album that Prince put out. You do not want to
'Cause
buy
it
the
is
soundtrack
delicious.
to this movie.
Well, yes. So let's discuss. Had you ever seen this movie
No,
before?
never.
Okay.
It's legendary. I've heard of it
Right.
a 1,000 times. I've never seen it.
Now, do you enjoy Prince or Prince's music?
Not really. I mean, I enjoy the music that I've heard on the radio, but I could not tell you. There were songs on this that I had never heard before.
Okay.
One or two. There was one where they were at the beginning when he drives her out to that lake. I don't know what the song was that was playing, and I was just thinking, ooh, this is a lesser Prince song. I didn't know what it was. No, he's well respected. Clearly, like other artists, I don't quite get it. Like, I get it in that his music is poppy and catchy, and yes, I don't understand the brilliance that some people would probably claim to be Prince, if that makes
I
sense.
gotcha. I think it does.
Okay.
I think
Yeah. What about
I
you?
had never seen Purple Rain, but I know Prince and I enjoy his music and knew he was like, prodigy performer, whatever. But I love the Purple Rain album.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the Purple Rain movie,
Oh.
I had never seen. And
Okay. Well, let's give our final judgments here. Would you like to judge this movie?
please judge away.
All right, I'll judge.
Yeah.
It's not a good movie.
No,
I mean, it really
you say
isn't.
thumbs down.
And I feel like a lot of times we have a lot of fun with this while we're talking, and maybe
Yeah.
we make it sound more fun than it is. Like,
You're like, sorry if we made it sound like it was
Right.
a fun time, but it was miserable.
if this is no, I would say if you're with a group of friends and you
Yeah.
just want to sit and laugh at a movie and make fun of it with people, fine.
Okay.
But watching this by yourself, and no offense to anyone that enjoys this movie legitimately, I found it painful at times. Like it's to say that the tone of this movie is uneven is a grand understatement. Like it veers wildly between comedy and a drama that they want to be dramatic, but is just as hilarious, more hilarious than the comedic parts of this movie. Like the comedy falls flat and the dramatic parts are so hilarious and goofy. It's not good. It really isn't.
It's not.
And their performances are bad. I know they're not actors,
Yeah,
but
they're clearly not.
Apollonia
actors in
is a
musical.
terrible actress, terrible musician. I'm sorry if you're listening.
Apollonia. I think
Prince
is bad.
Prince has done other films after this.
I don't think any of them stand up.
He's
to
not
Purple
very
Rain.
good. I mean, he's really not. He's into it. I mean, he really wants to do it. He's committed. He's not
He
good.
is committed. He is committed. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think that if you're a Prince fan, then you must have seen this movie, and then it's a dream come true. If
Yes.
you are a Prince fan and you love his music, then this movie it's just dramatic enough to
How have you not
you're,
seen it?
especially
Yes.
if you're a fan of him and you were in the 80s. This is all of the 80s. Like, it is too dramatic and it is goofy funny, but that's exactly what you needed in the 80s. And then if you heard this music and you were in your late teens and this movie made sense to you, and I can understand that.
And I think it's really interesting, like I've said before, this social experiment that we've decided to undertake here, because if you look this movie up on like IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, critics at the time really liked it. Like it got really good ratings at the time, and I'm sure it felt very different at the time than it does
at the
now.
time, right?
Yes.
And I think I think the best part of the movies was, again, his musical performances,
Right.
and he is such a performer. But again, you have to know that you're not watching a movie, that you're watching more of a musical, that you're going in it because you like Prince. We watched this with my brother-in-law, who is in his early 20s, and
Okay.
when doesn't really know Prince or his music very well, and so we're watching it, and we're about 15 minutes in, and he goes, and now remember, the first opening is just a 7-minute song, and he's like, is this what the 80s was like? Is this what you guys did? Like, he was concerned.
I love how he showed concern, because I would be concerned if I watched this and just kind of, somebody told me, oh yeah, this took place in a certain time period and this all happened. That seems troubling.
People dress like this, and this is the, But, so yeah, I agree with you that it wasn't, maybe a recommendable movie unless you're a Prince fan.
Right.
I recommend listening to the album. The Purple Rain album is an awesome album, and Prince he's an icon because he's such a talent. He can't be denied of that. But
No, and he's not an actor. He's not an actor.
Let's say it like it is.
But
this movie did win an Academy Award.
It did, and again, that's why we chose it. This movie did win an Academy Award.
And
Prince won an Academy Award for Best Score or Best Song, I forget. And we also chose it because Apollonia was nominated for 2 Razzies for Worst Song and Worst Actress.
And the acting, okay.
She didn't win. She didn't win either. So okay, that's great.
All right, but she was just nominated. It's an honor to be nominated.
It is. It is. I don't know what she does now, but I hope she's okay.
You really want to know what Morris is up to, Morris Time.
I do want to know what Morris is up to. I can't believe I did not even look him up. I should have. Why did I not? I will. If people did not enjoy this movie, but maybe they want to watch a movie that is somewhat related to this. If you want to watch a movie that is legitimately depressing and deals with a tortured artist, I would recommend 2007's Control, which is a biographical film of the life of Ian Curtis, who was the lead singer of the band Joy Division, and he ended up committing suicide and was very depressed and had epilepsy, and it was very sad because he had a wife and like a young kid, and it's very sad. And it's
very heavy.
Yeah, it's almost like what this movie wanted to do.
Oh, it's the serious side of Purple. Right, it's the rain part, not the purple.
It's a really nice movie. It's shot in black and white, and it just is so sad and so depressing. So if you're in the mood for that, go for it. What about you?
All right. Well, there you have it. I would say, again, I recommend just listening to the music from Purple Rain.
Just turn off the picture and listen to the sound.
Yeah, just saying. And I thought of another. I was trying to think of another like kind of rock musical, and I thought of Hedwig and the Angry Inch. With do you know that musical with James?
Oh yeah.
Cameron Mitchell, Michael Pitt, who I like from Boardwalk Empire.
It's a great recommendation.
Yes. So.
All right. So in 2 weeks, let's just move on to what we're doing in 2 weeks.
Let's zoom ahead like we're on our purple motorcycle.
2 weeks, if I told... there's March Madness is in 2 weeks, so I thought we could choose a sporty movie, and the sport would be basketball.
Oh, b-ball.
So if I said to people, 80s movie basketball, people would say Hoosiers, and you'd be wrong.
And that's not it?
No.
Okay.
We'll get to some Dennis Hopper movie, I'm sure, in the future, but not Hoosiers.
We should. Okay.
Yes. So if it's a basketball movie with a werewolf in it...
I'm saying a Teen Wolf.
It's got to be a Teen Wolf, of course.
Oh, awesome.
So Teen Wolf, 1985, Michael J. Fox.
Not Teen Wolf 2.
Whoever the guy was that played Styles. I think Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure
is in it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
I'm howling
for
at
this.
the moon for this one. Yeah,
Yes.
this is going to be great. Oh, I'm excited about Teen Wolf. I agree. You can't not like Michael J. Fox.
Oh.
And I'm excited to see him just become a wolf while playing basketball. This is going to be fun.
All right, everybody.
I know,
So
what
that's it. Wait, do we have other announcements? We don't, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Do we?
No?
Nope.
This would be great. I'm clearly keeping this in. All right, everyone. So, and also at the end of this,
Yes.
I did not want to include this song at the end.
Oh, please
But-
don't
wait.
put the sex. Don't.
But Prince has all of his music removed from iTunes. All right, everyone. So we
All
will
right,
see
everybody.
you in 2 weeks with Teen Wolf. Watch it. I'm
Yes.
sure it's on YouTube or whatever. Buy it on Amazon. I don't know. Whatever. Support
do
Michael
your
J. Fox.
research. Yes. He's another tiny man that's so
He
funny.
is. I'm so excited about that. I don't know why. All right, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks. That's
All
it.
right,
Bye.
Ciao. Good night. Or bye. Purple. Or yeah.
How you choose to get off on your mind and ready to explode. I need you to get off with your slave to anything I'm told. I'm a sex shooter, shooting love in your direction. I'm a sex shooter, come and play with my affection. I need you to pull my trigger, babe. I can't do it alone.
Where are you? Answer me, motherfucker!